Wait, is it morning? It should be morning. What is the time? It is current. Oh, it's 10 a.m. That means I woke up at 8. Good job. I'm very proud of myself. But I do say that I've been waking up at 8 for almost a month. How are you all? Today is going to be just a cozy talk with me and with you as a listener. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna give you a little overview of my day, because today is the day when the Alumni Fest is going to take place. What is Alumni Fest? Basically, I study with a program called Stipendium Hungaricum. It's a scholarship program that's called Stipendium Hungaricum. And the program itself, what is Temple's Foundation? Those things are basically, I don't know how the organizations are formed. Probably I should, but they're organizing an Alumni Fest and they're bringing together the alumni from different majors, but practically everyone who's graduating, the new alumni who are graduating this semester from all, I don't know how many countries they're gonna be. Yeah, we're gonna have a get together, a networking kind of an event. We're gonna meet with our own ambassadors. So there's going to be an ambassador from Kyrgyzstan, and it's gonna be at 2. Currently it's 10. I am having my breakfast. I've also practiced a little bit. That's why my laptop is open and standing right there. What I've been practicing my thesis, because my thesis is on Friday, which is in 2 days. I'll try to post this video on Thursday. My thesis will be the day after. So you guys can leave your sweet comments down below and I'll read them all. And now let me have my breakfast. What do I have here? This is my favorite yogurt by this brand. Why am I saying brand? See, there are so many thoughts. Some of them are so necessary. But yeah, I am having my oats. I fried some oats with honey, salt, cinnamon, what else? And I added yogurt on top of it. Well, I put them in my yogurt. And then I also added some cocoa powder. And now this is how it looks like. It looks magical. It looks phenom. Very phenom. Okay, what I wanted to talk about today. Let's talk about stereotypes. Let's talk about social psychology. Recently, if you watched the previous video, I talked about final examination, so like state exams. For my degree, they've divided the state exam into 4 parts, into 4 comprehensives. So there's comprehensive in personality psychology, developmental psychology, social psychology, and cognitive affective together psychology. So there are 4 comprehensives that consist of written, like multiple choice, then essay, and then oral. Okay, I'll also tell my grades. The comprehensives of this year, I took developmental and social. I got 5. Very proud of myself. But the comprehensives in cognitive affective, which I did last year, I got 3. And I was so genuinely happy for that 3, because I, for my degree, will agree that that was the most challenging one. I would personally say, because essay questions were tricky. Like passing the multiple choice, doable. But then essay questions were so random. After that, I didn't go for oral. So you can keep your multiple choice. You can go for a written exam if you pass the multiple choice, and multiple choice is around 40 questions. You have to get like 26, which is a passing grade, and above to be able to go for an essay part. And if you complete an essay part, you get your grade, which is 3 or 4. You can get a 5. You can make it 5 if you go for an oral. I was very much humbled by this comprehensive. So yeah, I was very happy for 3. What was the other one? Personality psychology. I genuinely, again, so am interested in personality psychology, and I would actually love to go through my notes, my lecture notes, the lecture slides, and read the required readings, the recommended readings. But I would also say that I think I was still getting used to preparing for the comprehensive, because comprehensives are, you just have to study everything for personality 1 and personality 2. I'm so proud of myself for getting 3. Were they multiple choice and essay? There was no oral part, but there were 4 essays. 2 from the 2 different professors, 2 from Martin and 2 from Aditi. Aditi is more like gave more clinically focused questions, while Martin gave counseling focused questions within the personality psychology. But they were really good. Like when I was taking the exam, when I was writing my essay responses, I remember I retook it. So like on the first one, I had no answer for Aditi, plus I'm in my head, I was like, I have to write a perfect essay, otherwise the professor will not grade it. Even though I knew a few things regarding the question, like on the question the professor gave us, I don't know what happened, but I just decided to retake it. But on the Martin side, yeah, there was multiple choice and essay questions. On the first try, I think I did pretty good. But then I went for a retake and I wrote all 4 answers for all of them. It was good. Good memories. So yeah, that is how I completed my state exams. Hey, you can also congratulate me on that. Because I'm done with state exams, and now I'm going for my final thesis defense. Where I started talking about my thesis defense, which is a big deal highlight of this week. But also other things that I want to talk about today was social psychology, specifically the stereotypes. I wanted to talk about stereotypes, prejudice, and discrimination just a little bit. I'm not gonna go in depth, but what is a stereotype? Stereotype is a cognitive schema of a generalized belief about a group of people. For example, all engineers are nerdy, or all Asians are good at math. Now, prejudice is an emotional or affective attitude. It is negative feelings towards someone based on a group membership, like not liking certain ethnicity. And discrimination is a behavioral response. It's acting unfairly towards someone due to their group identity. For example, not hiring because of an accent. And there are so many more examples to this. Why am I talking about stereotypes, prejudice, and discrimination? Is because I was just wanted to talk about these theories and for you to make your own conclusions and to work through stereotypes that already exist in your head, because social influence is pervasive and we get affected. Well, first of all, our environment, the type of stereotypes that already existed, the type of things people said about other people kind of stay in your head. And then over time, there are different ways to counter stereotype, of course. Is there a word? Of course. But, such as, exposure, not exposure, what was that? I'll come back to that. But, I personally have been working through those stereotypes in my head. Even though they were implicit or explicit, you kind of over time get self-aware of the way how you treat others, the way how you think about other people. And we are part of this society where a lot of norms apply to us all and kind of follow that. And we all kind of do belong to certain groups. And it's just a social construct. Would that be a correct way to say? So I feel like my language abilities have left me for a second. Like trying to be aware, observing your own behavior, your own thoughts, your own words, how you think and how you treat other people, the kind of thoughts, like schemas that you already have, stereotypes that you have, prejudice that you have about other people, other groups, and maybe you might even be discriminating towards them. Kind of, take a moment, take a pause to reflect on that, because, it reveals a lot more to, understanding this world, to understanding how the society has affected you, So yes, and I'm a girl, I grew up with tons of stereotypes, people telling me not to do this, not to do that, not to be like this, not to be like that, because, I don't know, people are just weird. Now, how the stereotypes form? or like how the three constructs in general form, there is a cognitive cause. We generally have categorization, group categorization, to simplify the world, to understand how this world works, and schemas to make our thinking, to make quick judgments. So these two constructs are kind of universal to everyone. Oh, the example was that you meet one person from a group and generalize it to entire group because you try to simplify the world through categorization and you need to make quick judgments by forming schemas. That is not really helpful. I mean, I guess as a first encounter, that's what happens in our heads, and that's not the only thing. Other thing is social learning. We learn through people around us, our parents, family, peers, media, social media. And lastly, the third cause is the motivational factors, such as in-group favoritism. In-group favoritism, as I already said, we try to be liked by the group of people that we belong to, by the people in the group that we belong to. We try to be liked, and we also kind of like and favor the in-group members. Boosting self-esteem by disregarding out-group, unfortunately, and scapegoating during threat and crisis. Make your own judgments. What kind of theories try to explain the stereotypes and prejudice? First theory, authoritarian personality. Some people are psychologically prone to stereotyping due to upbringing, harsh discipline, rigid norms that over time leads to developing certain traits such as being submissive to authority, rigid, and aggressive to outgroups. That's the authoritarian personality theory by Adorno and colleagues. Second is by Lerner, proposed 1980s, believe in just a world, and I think this is the saddest one. This is also a theory where people, try to justify the bullying, to reduce cognitive dissonance. To reduce cognitive dissonance, people tend to believe in just a world, and believing in just a world means they try to justify that the world is fair, and if something bad happened to other people, for people to get rid of the dissonance, because if something really bad happened, there are of course a lot of underlying factors, but like what people in general and as a society, I guess, try to reduce the cognitive dissonance is believing this just a world and that the world is fair when it's not. This is how the victim blaming forms. The victim blaming is the most evil thing. Basically, victim blaming to maintain a belief and reduce cognitive dissonance. This is basically what and plus a stereotype there. Why did I write stereotype there? Well, that's another good thing to talk about. But anyways, the third theory that tries to explain stereotypes and prejudice is system justification theory by Jost and Banaji in 1994. People justify existing social this is another thing, and I've been just generally thinking about it. So basically, system justification theory says that people justify existing social systems as fair and natural. To maintain this belief maintains stereotypes even at the cost of own groups. This is so sad, but basically the existing social systems in our century, the hierarchical system, the patriarchy system, whatever system that comes to your head, people think that it's fair, and whatever the system does to people, even if the people are your in-groups, then the system justification goes stronger. And that also in a way to reduce the cognitive dissonance and to get rid of the distress. So people, how coping works. So basically, and how our brain and how we function. So basically, whenever we come across a challenge, a difficult situation, our brain perceives threat. We try to reduce it. Like our brain starts working to protect us. Evolutionary, we have survival instincts, right? Right now, I guess mostly cognitively, because we don't have to hunt and we don't have to, survive in the wild nature, but we have to survive in this society. So whenever our brain perceives this threat, the danger, if this existing social system does something cruel, something bad, something, something in that context, people try to justify it. And maybe I've been part of that. Sadly. And this keeps maintaining the stereotypes, like all the stereotypes, all the prejudice, all the discrimination that exists in this world means the system justification works perfectly. Another thing that comes to mind, God, there are so many things in my head. Anyways, let me talk about how and what kind of psychological functions work in stereotypes and prejudice. There are two of them: cognitive function, being faster mental process, although being biased, and social identity, us versus them phenomena. And how do we reduce stereotypes and prejudice is through contact hypothesis proposed by Pettigrew and Top in 2006 on their meta-analysis, where they stated that counter-stereotype exposure, common in-group identity, and perspective taking. Perspective taking is a huge thing. Even when you study perspective taking in like neuroscience, that is such a great, in cognitive psychology and in neuroscience, like there is a lot of things going on in your brain, and then the more perspective taking you are, the more healthy your brain is, the better your brain works actually, and it is proven by science. And confirmation bias, there you go. I wanted to talk about something, I forgot. Oh no, there was something in my head, like literally. System justification. I was not able to recall whatever I was thinking of sharing, but there was something like that was the main point of this video. Like I really wanted to talk about that. That's very sad. Very sad. But if I get to remember it by the end of this video, I'll of course talk about that. Other things from my life. Let's keep doing life updates. Is I'm reading this book. Yeyyyy. That's in Russian. I do say that my Russian has improved significantly. Of course, Russian is not my native language. It is the second language that I know. Although I would also say that I know English better than Russian, but it's been a very interesting book. And by Yeyyyy, what are the odds of finding a Yeyyyy book in the city? I was gonna talk about something. What do you mean? Why the heck did I forget it? Attribution, fundamental attribution biases, how we make decisions, helping and aggression, social aspects of the self. Bro, that is so not good. Did I forget? I'm currently working on my thesis, PPT, and also trying to, since morning I've been trying to finish presenting my thesis in 5 minutes. Has not been a success yet. Once. I think only once I was able to like finish it properly in 5 minutes and say all the things that I wanted to say and mention and talk. Here's how it looks like. I don't want to go into like one by one, but that's how it looks like. Oh wait, I also need to show you this. This is how I'll conclude the video.